Recording. Cool. So we're officially on the MLO Net Survivor Series. And we went back and forth as to whether this was going to be about being a top producer or hitting your goals or just surviving. And we kind of like the wrestling theme, let's survive. Let's make it through the cage match that is this current market. I threw a post out there just a few days ago talking about people hitting their goals. You would hit your goals. You got so many people to talk to on a daily basis. And I love hearing you and TJ talk about this consumer direct type model. It's not something that I think I'm as good at when it comes to running ads. I'm pretty good at running around town and shaking hands and bringing in consumers in my own town and neighborhood. But you guys have gotten really good at attracting these people through all the different tech tools that you have. And I think that's what you and TJ are going to talk about. I mean, if you're just going to talk about the St. Louis,
we're just going to talk. We're just here to talk.
Whatever. I don't know. But either way, Bob is surviving. Bob's doing great. Bob's hit his goals. And so it's headed over to you, TJ. Talk to Bob about all this.
Here's
stuff.
one of the things that we were talking about, right? That one of the reasons that I knew Bob was somebody who had to go on Survivor Series. So it was back during the crash. I want to say like 2008, 2009. Right. I was part of a message board. We didn't even have Facebook groups, right? Message board back then from e-property sites.
Yeah.
And Bob was a source of knowledge for everyone who was struggling at the time. Right. And here we were in the worst time in the mortgage business. People think it's bad now. No, no. Those of us that were in back then were like, yeah, this is rough. But it's not 2008, 2009, 2010, right? But Bob was consistently same thing, meeting his goals, finding different ways to attract borrowers and generate business without necessarily being beholden to the real estate agent. So, and he's managed to keep that a version of that business model for years now. So really excited, Bob, to have you on here, kind of talk about what you do, kind of how you structure your business, what made you decide to kind of really, control your business to be the person that's in charge of everything here. Like, again, you're not beholden to someone to say, here is a referral I need you to chase down for the next 10 days, right? You're the, to quote Seinfeld, the master of your domain, essentially.
Well, and that was intended. Back then when you said that, I refer to this a lot. 2009, I wrote a business plan that I called the 3-prong attack to business. And I never, ever executed the 3rd prong, which was to work with real estate agents. Never did it. And ever since, I've been just running on those 2 prongs, on the 2 business prongs all along. And it's all consumer direct marketing. My consumer direct marketing goes back to the 2000s, the beginning of this century, when I used to run full page ads in all the real estate magazines, and everybody thought I was nuts at the time. And at the time, I was a huge producer in those days. Not so much now. I don't produce as much as I used to, and that's intentional. I only want to do 50, 60 loans a year, give or take 10. That's my goal. That's how I write my business plan, and that's all I want to do. And it's really easy for me to get. This year, actually, I'm forecasting to do better this year than in 2020 or 2021 or 2022. By actually about 10% higher. And I'm kind of surprised, but it's more the faith in the plan and executing it. You're a part of that, as you know. You and I talk a lot about consumer direct. Lola has a lot of good stuff in it. You and I don't always agree on it, but it's definitely got an executable plan that if somebody pays attention to it and commits to it, they're going to be able to get that income from it that they want.
Well, let's talk about the plan, right? Because I think that what you said right there, that's the biggest thing. And so many people miss that, right? They come in and they're like, I'm going to join VMA and I want to become a veteran mortgage specialist, or I'm going to join Leads Academy and I'm going to generate all these pre-approvals, or I'm going to join loan officer seminar systems, and I'm going to teach all these classes, or I want to join the Corps and make 40 phone calls a day, right? But there's never like a written down, executable, this is what I want to achieve, and this is how I'm going to achieve that. So do me a favor, talk a little bit, just kind of again, about how you come up with your yearly plan. Like what's your approach to this?
So I know how many loans a year I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It actually prescribes down to how many leads a day I want to do and how much advertising I have to do or other steps. So my business doesn't come just from Facebook ads. It comes from other consumer direct items, but I know how many leads a day I need because I know how many of those leads are going to convert into either a scheduled call or an application. How many of those calls and applications are going to convert into somebody actually using me as their loan officer? And then out of those, how many are really going to convert into actual business just because some drop out? And then I work the math backwards. Then I tell myself, okay, how am I going to get there to that many leads, X leads? And it's about 1.3 long form leads a day. I'm a little bit different. I like long form opposed to the conversation that you and I have as to a lead. But I want 1.3 long form leads a day. And these are people that have filled out a 16 to 18 question form because they found me for some reason. I do a lot of Facebook advertising. For the first time, I keep threatening this. I've been threatening this. I'm going to step out of the state of Missouri, which is my only state, my main state. I'm going to step into 2 border states, Kansas and Illinois this year. I think that will exponentially help my business. I just don't know how much. And I'm going to step into those. I'm going to expand between Facebook ads. I'm going to use the old term, Google My Business, Facebook postings and blogging. I'll get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of leads every year of long form leads, phone calls, that kind of stuff.
So Fish, I want to let you jump in because obviously Bob's like talking dirty to me when he starts talking about long form leads and all this type of stuff. And I don't want to jump in too much, man, but I mean, what are your thoughts kind of on what Bob's been sharing with us here?
Well, I think a lot of loan officers, and even myself included, we hear all this stuff and it sounds awesome and fantastic, but we don't even know where to start. And we kind of probably start in the wrong spot. And we think we have to have some crazy fancy website to capture all this business. And I think that we make some wrong assumptions about how this type of lead generation works.
Right.
We don't have to do everything for the consumer on a website to get them to reach out and express interest. So can you explain that a little bit, Bob?
Right.
What type
this
of
is where
ads do you drive all these long form leads?
The working the backwards part of it is what's so essential. If you're a golfer, it's like playing golf from the hole back to the tee. You got to first know yourself very, very well. What kind of borrowers do you want? What kind of borrowers do you know real well? And what kind of products and programs do you have available to you to deliver those types of borrowers? You really got to do that deep down dive into yourself and your company before you can actually do this. So once you figure out what you can do, then you got to figure out your audience. For me, it's first-time home buyers, a lot of first-time home buyers. I also do bankruptcy. I go after people that are recently bankrupt and are looking for a home. I do a lot of less than perfect credit. Don't let that scare you. And a few others. Then I develop my message for those types of people and then use the vehicle of Facebook, Google My Business, blogging to deliver my message to those people as they're looking for me. Facebook isn't looking for me, but so it's a matter of developing an ad to stop their thumb from scrolling. But with Google My Business, blogging, and a few other things, it's a matter of them finding you. You just got to develop the message and put it on a vehicle to get there. Google My Business is a very good platform for that.
So it doesn't sound like you're just copying somebody else's ad copy and images.
Absolutely
It
not.
sounds like you're being very original
Yes.
in the direction that you're going. And it sounds like you're kind of maybe chasing a demographic that doesn't have as much ad dollars going after it as well.
That is a very good point, Fish. You cannot compete with the guys that have a lot of money. So you can't compete with FHA on Google. You got to compete with not what I would used to call the short tail search parameters, but the long tail search, and the ones and going after the things that Rocket can't go after. Rocket can't go after down payment assistance. They really don't have it. It's not built for them. A lot of successful
and USDA, right?
Right. That's another one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And a few of those things. So once you get to know those programs real well and know what your competitors can't do, go after them. And because there's a market for it.
Last week, Fish, or last Thursday, knowledge-based marketing, right? Really knowing what your niche is and what your product is. You know that, and then it allows you to do what Bob talks about. He can actually craft his advertising and his messaging to that niche because he knows it better than his competition does. And that's what, again, as a guy who's done a lot of ads over the years for myself and for other people, right? When we throw out just that very generic vanilla, hey, home buyers, learn about programs here, versus when we do a specific, hey, Missouri first-time home buyers, true first-time home buyers, blah, blah, blah. That one performs much better, maybe a little bit higher lead costs, right, Bob?
Yes.
But it's a higher conversion rate because we really niche down to who that audience is.
Yeah. Short form leads, and you'll tell people this all the time, have a conversion ratio of about 0.5% to 1%.
Yep.
My conversion ratio is upwards north of 8%. So,
Wow.
and so they convert much higher. For instance, is something that Fish, you do a lot of, which is hero marketing. You market to the heroes, which for you, it's VA. Okay, so a little oversaturated for my taste, but there's other heroes out there. And a lot of those heroes know that there's programs out there for them, but they go on Google to look for them. Nurses and medical people, teachers and educators all know that there's programs out there for them. So develop your own heroes program. I don't care who you use, just develop your own. I develop my own heroes programs for teachers and nurses, and it gets found a lot. And they call me all the time.
Now, are you updating your website consistently with content on that? So your Google business profile is being updated? And
with my website, I can do that through my blog articles too. So that updates it and then refer back to the page. But yes, I have to update the page anyway because programs change. Right. And things get added and everything else. So yes,
But what would you say, like what role does the blogging and the information that you're putting or the knowledge that you're putting out there, what role do you think that has to play in you having a much higher conversion ratio than a lot of other people? I mean, do these people
very high
read your articles and they kind of see you as the expert, if you will, even though I don't hate that word, or I do hate that word. They see you as the authority. They see you as the person that knows what they're doing before you make that connection. So the sales cycle or some of these things that we hear out in the mortgage space, like, oh my gosh, it's all about speed of lead. You got to call them quick and you got to pound them and you got to just hit them over and over with all these sequences or else you're going to lose. To me, that was really stressful. I don't necessarily.
I don't believe in that.
Yeah, so. I don't necessarily want to be part of that kind of space.
Mm-hmm.
But like what you're doing, I love because you might miss some of these consumers that are going to get wrapped up in this whole, that person called me first. But I always said, that's not my ideal customer anyways. If I got to be that kind of person, like, I don't like this business at all. If I get a person that's like, hey, Mike, I wrote that article. I watched that video that you did. I heard from a friend that you're great. That trust level goes up so much so that you don't have to worry about calling them 9 times in 2 days with a perfect text sequence because there's already a level of trust there, right?
Right. Yes. Especially when they find you, they feel that they've done their homework already. I will give you.
Oh, that's great. I love that. People are doing their homework. What are they doing?
Yeah.
They're Googling you 100%, right?
They're
What are they
basically
gonna find?
Googling me, and they're looking for me. They just don't know it.
Right.
Yeah.
What are they going to find when they Google you? Well, they're going to find all these things that you've done and this information, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and I've got good reviews. My review sites are out there and everything else. I don't have great numbers, but I have enough that impresses them.
Mhm.
But the articles are there, and it's answering their questions that they're looking for. I don't want the people that I can't answer their questions for. That's not my audience. So, I mean, I'll take them if they fall in my lap.
Mhm.
But I got my Google Analytics the other day for my Google page. I had 365 people view my business profile, and that's down significantly, almost 50% during the highs of this year. But out of that, I had 8 people call me. There you go.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Right. It's just keeping yourself updated.
And out of that number, I had 114 visit my website. That's 114 people in the St. Louis area, or my area that I'm looking for, actually visit my website. That means I had a conversation with 114 people. So
Really,
that
with you,
will pay off.
it's a combination of, and I think this is so important when we talk consumer direct, right? And so many times we talk consumer direct, these conversations turn into turning on ads, right? But it's a combination of all of the above. You're running ads, which is really, that's your short term. You're putting your image out there, you're putting your brand out there, you're putting your message out there. You're combining that with the long-term strategy of ensuring that your Google business profile, or GMB, as you like to call it, grumpy old man, right?
Yeah.
It's consistently updated and reflecting. Really, I don't want to just, I know I always talk about niches, and niches make riches, but you can have multiple niches, right? Like
God, yes.
Like you can talk about down payment assistance, you can talk about being a VA specialist. Like there's all these different things that you can do on there. And then, and then your consumer direct, inherently is pushing that almost that organic piece, because people are like, oh, I am interested in this. Let me research this. And who pops up, right? It's you, and it's your information. They're like, oh, that's that guy I just saw right there.
Well, I think it's important that if somebody finds me on Facebook, or I stop their thumb on Facebook, that I have another place for them to go to research me, because they do, and they will research you. And then they find out how long I've been in the business, what other things that I'm writing about, and everything else I'm talking to about. And I always refer to it as they're hearing my voice. I write the way I will talk to them anyway. And I don't know how many times I hear that, is that, boy, you say exactly what I read. I said, well, I believe it. There you, and it's what I want to hear. Because
Bob, you don't make like a bajillion videos, right? You're not out there on camera a whole lot.
Look at my face, my voice. No,
but I'm mentioning this because there's a lot of people that are watching this call that have heard me say make videos over and over. But if they're watching the series, like I keep saying, your voice can be you writing. It can be you doing images. It doesn't necessarily have to be camera. I tell people to do camera because they want, I want them to get comfortable talking, but you can talk in the written word as well. And you're a perfect example.
Very well.
You can trust through writing awesome articles and all that kind of stuff. So
I almost hooked it up for this, but last year about this time, I bought a really nice microphone and a real nice lighting system so I could start doing videos. It's still in the box right next to my desk. But yes. And I have actually with my company, I have the ability to go into our corporate office or our regional office and have them help me do videos. It's just not my cup of tea. And this to me is a business that you can make. I love what we do for a living. It's a great business because you can shape it and make it into anything that you want it to suit you. You just got to figure out what that is. And once you figure that out, start talking to people that can make it happen.
Right. It takes us back to the start of the call as we wrap up here. You started with a plan. You started with a plan, and your plan is, this is my end result. Right. This is my end result. Now, here are the steps that I need to take quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily to achieve that. And then it's grown from there. Like I said, once you kind of got a baseline with your lead generation, you say, hey, all right, I've got 300 leads, and these 300 leads have turned into 2 loans, right? Whatever, like
X amount, yeah.
And you just start working back. So now you've got a very structured every single day. I know I need this. And my guess is that if you're going a week or two and you're not getting that baseline as in minimum amount of leads, that's when you got your notification. Hey, I need to take a look at my ads. I need to up my ad budget. I need to modify some things, because all of that leads to this, which leads to this, which eventually leads to your quarterly.
Right.
goals.
And most of it really is consistency, TJ, as you know. It's consistently doing it over and over and over again. So when on the days that I'm not writing posts for Google My Business or blog articles or anything else like that, I'm looking for ideas for it, and then putting them into a notebook, into a folder, and saying, okay, this is my next idea, and flesh it out and everything else. I watch my ads, making sure that they're delivering the number of leads I want, and how are they? Am I getting a lot of clicks but no conversions? Well, then that's on the landing page I'm sending them to. That's that fault. Right. But if it's getting them to stop their thumb and pay attention, I know I've got a good ad. And now it's just, why isn't it not converting? So
I got a niche for you, Bob. How about VA loans that need credit repair, renovation, and down payment assistance?
And it's funny because I go after hero programs like and using USDA and VA with down payment assistance and say, buy a home with no money, period.
Right.
No seller concessions, no nothing. And if you want to get seller concessions, now let's just do a 2-1 buy down and start talking to them about why a 2-1 buy down is apropos when we're seeing the possibility of rates going down within the next year.
So Bob, if we were to say like, hey, we're taking away all these tools and blogs and all these things, and we're moving you over to a different state, and you're all of a sudden you're a brand new loan officer again, and you want to go down this path. The reason I'm saying this is very specific. There's people watching this that's exactly where they are. That's why they're watching the Survivor Series. What would they need to do in the first 3 to 6 months to have this kind of business plan work for them, you think, in this market today?
First, you got to have a very good assessment of who you are, what you want, and what you can deliver. Then you got to deliver it. Facebook marketing works. It really does. The ads will work for you. You just got to know that nothing's going to there's no silver bullet. Nothing is going to start giving you business tomorrow. But when I turn on an ad, I'm usually got business I can convert within about 6 to 8 weeks. Because those people, they're filling out a long form. They contacted me because they needed me. I did 2 pre-approvals yesterday, and just one, I had to call them. I said, who are you? And they were on my website filling out an application, ended up being 800 credit scores, looking for something above my average loan amount, ready to go right now. So, and they said, should we wait? I said, that's up to you. Here's the game plan for waiting. Here's the game plan for not waiting. And they go, oh, we like that. I can't wait to talk to my wife about that. Yeah. I said, yeah.
Awesome.
And yes, so you got to know your audience. You got to know and be prepared for what you're going to do. But if you took my plan into another state, you'd start delivering business within 3 to 6 months. I would say that very confidently. And much of it is, I hate to say it, in Lola. Not that I'm a shill. I am not. I don't get paid by him or anything else.
Nor do I.
I don't agree with. But yeah. But yes, Lola has a lot of it in there and everything else.
Well, it's just it's simple. It's not simple, right? You got to create, again, it's researching your message, it's getting your images so you get your thumbs up on there. And then, but the simple part is you got to be consistent. And I think that's the biggest thing that you have always done. You know, whenever I've called you up because I'm like struggling with something or in a panic, you're just like, breathe, take breaths, stay the course, right? Like keep doing it. And then again, it's follow-up, which I love your concept of follow-up because it's a multi-channel follow-up, right? It's, yes, you're following up with people because you're making phone calls and sending emails and sending text messages. But then you also, as you said, you have articles that you can send them to. They have places they can find you online. So they're doing some of their own follow-up without necessarily, as Fish spoke about, the speed to lead, which I'm still a speed the lead guy, sorry, but like, you know,
Well, your leads require that. Yeah.
right. Well, yeah, when you're doing short form leads, you got to. When you're doing long form leads, which is, you know, what we
If
run
you're
in Maryland.
with all the sharks in the red ocean, you got to have speed to lead.
Right.
You know, if you find a different ocean where there's no other sharks in it, and you find, like Bob is looking for people that most lenders aren't going after. So,
But they're profitable. You just got to have the patience with that. And that hurts, but they are profitable. They're not going anywhere. My people don't leave me because I delivered what they wanted. I mean, I don't get shocked ever.
I want to ask you one question as we wrap up here. And no Lola mentions, because this is not a Leads Academy call or anything like that. This is, you know, a lot, and this is probably the two biggest topics we see in MLO Net: CRMs, and should I go to this company to buy leads? What's your opinion on buying leads from these people? Yeah, you see them all the time. They pop on your Instagram. Hey, loan officers, can you handle an extra 6 to 8 loans per month? That type of thing.
If I ever wanted to really get rich in this business, I'd sell that kind of stuff. And you know that. I just don't have the patience for it. You buy leads, they don't work, guys. You can self-generate your own. I saw somebody ask, what's a good starting budget? First ad, $5 a day is a good number. So $150 a month on an ad. If you put together a good ad, it's going to pay for itself 10 times over. Easily. So yeah. And CRMs.
We're not going to talk about CRMs. That's a whole nother can of worms right there.
Yeah, but don't get me started on CRMs.
I mean, the point is, there's no reason to go to whomever, you know, crazy company selling you all this, you know, we're going to do all this stuff for you, and you're spending $2 to $3 to $4 to $5 grand per month. You can do it yourself.
Only if you can learn from them. You know, I'm a big one for swipe and adapt. So I'll sign up for things, steal, and then figure out what they're doing, swipe it for my own, adapt it for me, and then cut them off. John Thomas says to do it with him. I mean, he absolutely says that. Learn from me, and then if you want to go out on your own, go out on your own. So
don't do it with Leads Academy or VMA though. Like everyone else you're good with, but not those two. So cool.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. Swipe and adapt is the best analogy I can tell people. Learn from the best, make it your own, and then run with it. This is your business. You got to operate it as your business.
Awesome.
So,
Good
cool.
stuff, Bob. Thank you so much. And
yeah, man.
Bob, next time I drive to St. Louis, you're going to come see me. Okay.
I apologize for that last time. My bad.
We're good. So I appreciate your time and energy. You know, maybe we'll find a way to get you guys doing some kind of event, lead generation event on the East Coast one of these days, or a few more calls or webinars or something. And a lot of people are super interested in that. LO Leads Academy, TJ Barker has lots of info on.
Nope.
We don't do any of this stuff here.
Not on Survivor Series.
This is not,
yes. You can survive in this business. I do think 2023 is going to be a great year.
I do too.
It's going to start out very slow, but man, it's going to turn on like gangbusters. You better be getting prepared now.
Yep.
That's the big deal. Get prepared now. So
I agree 100%. All right. MLO Net, thank you so much. Lots of great comedies. Jay Hernandez says Leads Academy a good platform to check out. I think so. So
the only thing we ask on these calls is that you share this information with your friends. You invite more friends to MLO Network. You share these recordings. You subscribe to the YouTube channels, and just, you know, we're trying to.
No,
Bob, come on, buddy.
Really? Why'd you have to go there, man?
I don't know.
So that part will be edited out, and then of course, guys. Let us know what topics you want. How can we help you? Let us know how Fish and I can help you. We'll find the right loan officer. We'll bring them on board or her and get some content out there for you. And Fish, let's just stop even, you know, let's not even BS anymore. These are 15 to 30 minute calls now. No more 10 to 15. They're 15 to 30 minutes every time. So.
Trying to do 15, which turned into 30. When we did 30, it turned into 45. So either way, 15 to 30.
We're right at 30.
So cool. All right. Let's rock and roll. Bob, thank you.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you. MLO Net, thank you. We'll see you Thursday for John Thomas.
Let's do it.